this is my half-scripted true attempt at showing you all how, how to use MS Paint a little better. Now, I have no experience making video, or so little it really doesn't matter. So, this is probably gonna be the best it will ever be. And to start off, the layout is pretty much as best as it could because otherwise I couldn't get the pop-up to show up. So this is what you get. This is where we are. So, Paint, usually regarded as the joke program. Okay, it's like, haha, what is this? Did you do this on Paint? No. Okay. I don't know if you've seen that video of the guy who made Santa Claus on Paint, but if you've seen that, you should know. But if you didn't know, let me give you a bit more example. We have this, done that for like a reference for a Secret Santa. So I made it kind of on the spot. We see this was made on Paint. Um, what else could I say about it? I think that's kind of it. I'll show you how I did that one later, maybe, if I remember to do that. We have this. I had to censor the naughty bits, but it's another example of what I do, of how it could be done. A lot of shading, a lot of like trying to make shadows, and there's a background. How did he do that? And like a bit of line art as well. Although it's not truly line art, it's more like outlines, like a painting. This one, pretty much the one that really kicked off this video. We'll try to zoom into it and I'll break it down later. But this is why I wanted to make this video. This is why people were like, I don't know. I've shown this to people and they were like, yo, well, you can really do something with this program, can you? So yeah. And this one, which I try to use in a stream layout, and people really like it because he looks really energetic and all that. And you're like, yeah, well, what is this green shit? It's me trying to actually put some sort of a green screen behind him so I can crop him out. But I did a poor job of that at the time. But it adds to the energy, so it's fine. And here's a hand, whatever. I did that for like the video, but turns out I didn't need it. So back to the program. Um, well, let's go over the layout. Actually, first, if you have a tablet, you can use it. You can use it because you will see soon enough with the brushes that you will be able to use pressure sensitivity. And I've got to say, it's the most reliable program when it comes to detecting your tablet. I had like it's not I'm not dissing other programs. I'm just saying that it's the fastest to work with. Okay, it just works. Even if you didn't install the driver, it just works. So let's go over the layout. We have side note, it's shortened. Normally it should be big like this, and you have everything laid out. But since I want to have this here, and I have a bit of visual appeal into what I'm doing, it's not just boring full screen program. So um, everything's going to be a little shortened, but it works all the same. So we have a big button for pasting, which I guess is fine, but you can just Control V your way into this. This is for like you can go into like your folder of image. You don't have to copy directly. You can just open that. You have selection tool, very useful. Lasso tool, same thing, but basically it just you can do it freehand. Select everything. Just use Control A. Okay. It's very useful as well if you want to flip the whole image or just delete everything. So transparency, we'll see that one later, because if I just go over it like that, it's not going to be very useful. Now onto the tools. This is the basic pen, the one you would use in Microsoft Paint 1990, 98 or 95. It's this kind of pen, but no, it's just, if you want to do what I've shown earlier, this is not going to be very helpful. Maybe if you want to do pixel art, but this is not what this is about. Uh, the eraser, same, not particularly useful. I mean, you will find yourself using other tools for that, although sometimes I do use it. You will see when I'll go over how to use it all. Bucket tool, it fills everything indiscriminately. If it's the same color, exactly same color, if it's just one unit different, it's not working. The eyedrop tool, the color selection tool, very useful. You will see later. So just keep that one in mind. The magnifying glass, I'm not sure how it's called in English. Guess I should have found about that sooner. But you zoom in, you zoom out. Let me just use this as an example. Oh, wow. Can zoom in, can zoom out. Also, what I've just used just then, probably not going to use that unless you're a Mimi fucker like me. Get this out. And here's the fun part, the brushes. Whoop. So, we have regular brush, which, let me give you a good color for that, which, does the general thing. It's opaque, it has some anti-aliasing to it, so it's kind of smooth. So it's very general purpose. It's good to just draw with. Next, we have useless tool number 1, useless tool number 2. Kind of the same, just tilted a different way. I suppose you could do some typing with that. Or not typing, some writing, some calligraphy, something. It's not good for what we do. Okay, same here. Like, I guess you could do that for some pixel art, fancy fartsy stuff, but it's just, we're not using that. First brush that exemplify what I was talking about earlier about the tablet part. So actually, it's not very well shown. Oh, this one, this one should do. So okay, it's like, oh, it's thin, and then oh, it's fat now, and so you can do pressure. Whoa! And also, it also exemplify opacity. Now, I have opacity is basically like, well, it's basically how transparent the color is when you lay it down. And if you go over it, it goes back to the original color. And this is very useful when we're trying to mix colors together and trying to get midtones and trying to do shading, which we'll see soon enough when I'll be done going over everything. We have the crayon. Is that what you call it? Pastel. It's not good. I mean, there is some pressure sensitivity. It has some opacity thing, but the texture is so rough. I guess you could do some like sketching with that. It's like it's not that good. And there's another pen for that, which is this one, but we're not there yet. There's this one, the marker, which is probably one other very useful brush, because again, as you can see, it has some opacity. No, you can't. There you go. Here's some example. and it's very useful because it helps with color mixing. I'm gonna do a very quick example for y'all. Up, say I have red and I have yellow. I guess the color don't have to be so far apart on the spectrum. Oh well, there you go. Here's a better example. Screw you, yellow. So, okay, I have a very good red and a very good other red on my palette, but I want an in-between. Well, I could just use this tool, which has like, I mean, I would say it has an opacity of like 15 or above, but still, it's very useful. Okay, go over the color, use the color picking tool, pick that color, and oh, look, it's a different color. And if I do that over and over again, I'll get a red, a bright red that goes more into the darker red. And so now I have different shade. We're shading now, guys. Check this out. Isn't it great? Isn't paint great? Up, and there you go. So wait, that yeah, that's what I thought. So here you go. Whoa, colors. Ain't that a thing? Make it bigger for you. There you go. And you can also go the other way around. Like it's you do you. You use opacity to do your thing. I guess I should draw bigger and overall. Next, the crayon, which is the best sketching tool because it has the lightest opacity. So basically, you could just start a sketch, and if you really want to emphasize like a part of it, you can just go over it, over it, over it. It's also great for shading because again, it has the lightest uh, opacity. Well, I'm okay, fine. I'm just so you can you know just go over it again, and then oh wow, it's like it's working or something. It's like a ball now with a shadow, a cast shadow. I'm not gonna go over it too much. I'm gonna give a better example by zooming in. Up. Okay, so we have this very dark. No, here. Okay, very dark, and we're trying to get into the lighter tone. Um, let's say we're trying to go into the green. So basically everything is green. And when we have a dark, just black, and we're trying to go to the green. Okay, go over once, and we try to pick a color, and then we try to go over it all. Pick it, pick back the, please. Yeah. Also, when you have like when you do a special color pick and you try to go back to black, sometimes it doesn't work. Just go back to white and black, and it just works. It's like, oh wow, look, we're getting there. And there you go. You sort of have a shading in between the two. So yeah, wow. So that's what your primary uses for this pen is: sketching and a bit of, no, probably a lot of shading alongside this brush. This brush though, okay, I've done a very nice drawing last time, so I'm gonna show you again. So if you're noticing, it's a little more opaque. Up, 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 up. It's a little bit more opaque here and a bit more lighter here. And I guess you could see it as this brush being like this and like being tilted. A bit like in the illustration right there. But, you know, it's actually tilted. Where this brush, up, 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 it's usually, no, yeah, it just has texture. But as you can see, oop, 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 as you can see, it's pretty even all across because it's this kind of brush. Wait, I should just, there you go. It's this kind of brush. So it's gonna pretty much be even all across like this. where here it's going to be more packed here and then, get lighter across. So I guess I primarily would use this one, even in smaller spaces, because here it's kind of weird in the fact that, uh, well, I guess I could just make a circle and show you. Yeah. So if you're trying to use it, it's basically, see, I started at the center and the tip was like on its left, and that's just weird. I don't like this. Why? Just just stick to this one. Okay. I mean, I guess you could find uses for this one, but generally this one is good. So let's erase all that, and I think we've went through all of the brushes. Yay! Next up, we have the forms. Now, the line, it's good, you know, works. Now, something you need to know about the lines is that first, you can mess with it once you've put it down, but as you've just seen, if you're paying attention, there, you have all of this. And you're like, what is this? Well, basically, you can switch what kind of line this is going to be. Let me maybe make a better example by having a line that's just way thicker. So you can have like the pastel, the marker, oil brush, crayon, and that other brush. As you can see, the other brush is like thinner. This looks nice, but again, I don't use it for that. Oh. So it's good to make like straight lines when you're sketching perhaps, and you want to just a straight line. Hold on. There you go. You use the crayon. Just just do lines. It's really nice. So if you need a ruler, boom, lines. Next form, this. I mean, I'm not gonna go over all of them. I'm just gonna go over the one that's important because clearly we're not gonna use the star, the heart, or the lightning, thunder, whatever. We have this. Let me give you a better color for that. This is wild. And the thing is, it would be better if it like did it just like paint.net where you could mess with the points individually. Because as you can tell, I first trace the line, then I select another point by pressing and holding, and then I select another point by dragging and dropping, which can give you very nice curves. But to get exactly what you want, you need to know how it works. Like once you've put it down, you can select a point anywhere, but then the second point is going to affect the other half, and it just the it's just no. Okay, if you want, you can try to tame this tool, but we're not doing this here. Other important tool, this one, big deal. Um, Good for squares, but check this out. We can fill it with another color if it lets me. There you go. So you're like, hey, that's pretty nice and all, but like, that looks very square-ish. Well, hold on. If we remove the border and select any other type of like crayon, you get this. First, you get some weird textured thing. Like, just not, we're not using that. We're using this. And like, whoa, wait a minute. This square with opacity and like, whoa, look at this. You can do layers of like opacity thing, and you're like, well, but Snake, what do we use that for? Well, check this out. Okay, so you do your little drawing. Say you do a sketch and you did it with black, okay? And it could be your line art. We'll talk about this later, but just check this out. Okay, little guy. He's like, are you ready for this? Now we use form pick white, the color of the background, and oh, now it's a good sketch we can go over again. We can do a proper line art. If you want, you can even go again, and now it's even lighter. You can barely see it, but if you rather have it be that light, there you go. And people probably won't see it. So there you go. That's what that's why this is so important. And it's like a trick I've had to learn by messing with the thing. Because now you can do opacity with it. Here's another cool thing. Let's do another big fat circle. Okay, we do no. Oh, also, yeah, the one you I didn't talk about the colors yet. What am I doing? Oh well, no. We're gonna talk about this afterward. You know? Okay, we do an apple. Okay, cool. It's an apple. But now I have to fill it up. And if I use this, it's gonna look just crappy, and you don't want that. It's bad. Okay, well, what you want to do, oops, what you want to do is use it, it, this. And you're like, what is this? Well, basically, you, uh, hold on, didn't, there, okay, hold on. I wasn't ready. So, this tool, how to use it? Basically, you first put a line down. I guess it would be easier if I had the outline as well. So put outlines. So first put a line down, and then we tap somewhere, we hold, and we release. You know, hold, put it down somewhere, release. You can even just click if you already know where you want to be. And how to close this shape is either you go back to the point where you were before, or you first click somewhere, and then again, you double click, and boom, you've got a shape. Now, how is this any use? Of any use? Hold up. Hold on. We take the outline away. We take a bit of a zoom just to make sure we don't screw it up. Take back the shape, make sure it's on fill, and oh my god, it's just like Krita, or that one tool that allow you to do this sort of lasso tool thing, but it fills everything and it's very useful. There you go. Boom. Apple complete. It's very red apple. What are you gonna do? So this is why it's useful for, and you can also use it in conjunction with markers. So if you want to have like a lighter feeling, uh, filling, where you will be able to draw over it and try to make like your shading different, you know, boom. So we have all of this down. There's a lot of stuff already. We're not done yet. We have the colors. So color 1, color 2. Color 1 is the one you will use by just clicking normally, like left click, or just using your tablet regularly. Color 2 is like the background color, which you will really want to keep usually at the background color. So say your background is this color. Well, you want to keep it that way because, see, remember what I said about the eraser? Well, you can just draw your thing and like, oh, it's shitty here. I need an eraser. You just right click and boom, you've got an eraser. It's like pressing X, but you don't have to press X. It's just the other button. It's cool, no? Alright, next. Well, I guess this is the base thing. It will affect the feeling of the forms, if you as you might have noticed. Basically, first color is the outline, second color is the filling. So, boom, color done. What is this? This is the color palette. This is the default color palette, by the way, and this is the custom palette color thing. I've already did some tests, so you can see a few here. But first, talk about this. I like this. This is good. This is like just fine if you're getting started and you want to put some colorful color down. They got good reds, good green, good blue, good warm colors, cold colors. They got the four gray essential. It's good. It's really good, but it's limited. And when you feel like you're limited, you can go to modify the colors. And you have this now. What is this? Well, it's kind of weird compared to other palette color picking tool. Basically, you have all of the colors here at their fullest saturation. Then you have the desaturation here. And then once you're done with that, you can choose to have it light or dark. And I don't remember the exact terminology, so please excuse me. You have like this, which is like, I guess it's kind of, it's not even this, it's just, this is pure red. And we don't have pure red here. Like this, if we pick this, this isn't pure red. So I don't know what the heck this is. And this is not important because if you change the color and just try to apply it, like if you close and then reopen it, it's still there, I guess. I don't know. It's not useful because you will see later soon enough that you would want to make your own palette. So let's make our own palette. We're still here actually. We're still here actually. I should have put more things because we're not even there yet. So what about the palette? So let's say we are going to up, up, say this is our canvas. And like you're like, wait, but isn't that our canvas? No. Our canvas is going to be a bit smaller because next to it we want to have our palette, our color palette where we put our colors down. But like, why would you want to put your color on the canvas like this when I have a color picking tool over here? Because it's so much more convenient, especially if you have custom colors that aren't here, or that there would be too much custom color that they wouldn't even fit here. Because if you tried to modify a color, say this one, and you're like, okay, well, it adds that color, and it's probably gonna erase those colors down. Like, let's say I'm picking a bunch of colors. They're not, and imagine they're all useful to you, and you want to have access to them at all times. And you're like, okay, I like this color. I'm just gonna change it a little for the shading. So I'm just gonna make it a little darker, a little more desaturated, maybe a little more red. Oh, I guess I've just lost one color. If it's here, you don't lose them. So I'm gonna make a quick palette, just red, orange, yellow. And you're like, okay, well, that's cute. How do I access it? Just color, boom. You use it, up, up, and now you have a palette you can access always, and you can mess with it. You can do that technique I've shown you earlier about transparency, up, and now you have a different shade of yellow, up, up, up. It really helps to know your own program because you've seen me just going back and forth because there's really no shortcut. If you press B, you don't get brushes. So yeah, your shortcuts are limited. So you're gonna be going back and forth like this a lot, picking the color, doing this, going for the going for this, changing your size, and there you go. So basically, you want to have a predisposed canvas on your canvas, I guess, on your draw area, and you want to have next to it your palette. So you can mess with it, change it, just because it's so much easier to mess and work with it around your here instead of having to go here and having to do it manually. I mean, it feels more natural anyway. Like if you want to, you can always use it, and then boom, now you have a color here, and boom, now I want something a little darker, a little more desaturated. Boom, I have it here now, and I don't have to worry about it being in this mess of things here. I can just go back to it and work on it, yada yada yada. So now we have done the basic. The basic thing took half an hour, don't care. This is for you, this is for me. It's just so we can learn. So, basic shit done. But now you're looking at it and you're like, wow, this kind of looks like a painting. Well, this is probably because, you know, get out. This is probably because you have to think of it as such. As you might have noticed, there's no layer in paint. It's probably why you thought that it was kind of bad because you couldn't use your layers. But guess what? I did all of the previous thing and there are no layer. Let me explain that to you. Let me explain to you how you do it. So, let's just up. No, I don't care about you. Don't spoil everything. So, select everything, delete it all, up. So, when you see your layers in your program, up, it's usually gonna look like this. You have your set of layers like this, with the eye and the probably other configuration and the drawing here. And next to it, you have your canvas where you draw your thing. Okay, so this is how you will always see it. But in your mind, what I want you to do is to take this bit and try to visualize it in 3D, which is kind of insane, but don't worry, I'll help you with this visualization with my artistry of my mastery of this program. Basically, I'm gonna do some magic trick real quick, so this doesn't take an hour. Up. Also, my throat is getting sore. I should probably take a drink. Up, up, and look at this transparency tool. It uses the secondary color and erase it from your selection, so you can go have some transparency. And I'm using Control C with the selection, then boom, I have other things. This is going very fast, but this is not very important, so it's okay. It's mostly for visualization. So, hey, look, water. Probably want to pick the water in like. Yeah, we're having water break. So if you have like question while I'm thinking, you can write them to me through Discord or like in the description of this video. You can criticize my video making skill so I can maybe get better at it. And yeah. Now that I've taken a bit of water so I can talk a little more. Um, okay, we have our layers, and what I like a general idea of how layers are used. Here, up here we have a background. Okay. Here we usually have a sketch. Oh, here we have the line art at the very top. And here we have the colors. It and that's mostly how it usually is with drawing things. I can tell I've done that. And it's very useful to have layers because that means you can work on this layer. You usually start with this layer. Up, please. You usually you'd usually start with this layer, and then you would do this layer because okay, first you try to start the drawing, and then you do the line art over it, because then it's easier to do the coloring beneath it, because you can fill the line art, or it's easier because it means you will never go over the line and then have to rework it a bunch. And then you would either do the background last or first, depending on the kind of person you are. So, um, and I won't be talking too much about the background because I don't even have that much experience with like complex background. As you might have noticed with the example I've shown, it's mostly like a flat color, uh, except for like the nutty one. It's I tried to do a texture of wood where he was laying on, but you couldn't really see that. So we're just gonna pretend it's not it. It's not there. So okay, we have all this, but how am I gonna do this with paint? Well, let me take a sip because I mean my throat is still dry. So, up. So how are we gonna do this? Basically, we're gonna start with a background, then do the sketching with the two, then do the coloring, and then do the outline slash line art. And you're like, but what? That's crazy. Yes. Why would you do the coloring before the line art? It's crazy. Well, that's what you do in painting anyway. So, well, I'll help you with that, and most importantly, I will explain you why you have to do it that way. Hup. Okay, let's do it the way you wanted to do it. Okay, do our sketch, and now we do the line art. I'm sorry if like it looks really bad. I'm just trying to have an example ready very quick instead of trying to put some time into it, because it's just for like the sake of an example. Okay, so here goes our guy. Gonna zoom in it. We're gonna zoom on him so we get a good look at him. We're even gonna give him a little bit of a smile because detail, whatever. And now what? Now we're gonna color him. How do you do it? Like, okay, his hair are like brown, and you're just going over your lines. It's just messy. It's just not good. Like, what you could do is use the form here. Well, hold on. I'm just gonna, yeah, just before you use the form tool, just make sure you have the right color so it doesn't look awkward. And like we get an idea of what you want to do, and you can even fill it if you want, and then go over it again. Like, that's okay. That works. And that's kind of what I do sometimes when I'm trying to fix my things up. And I mean, that's what you will have to do anyway. Go over your line art over and over until you've got it something good. And like, okay, we got something okay, but it's not the best it could be. Okay, so we go back, and now we just gonna try to do it this first. I mean, usually you probably want to have like a more refined sketch if you're going to if you're gonna paint over it, so you know where you're going at least. There you go. And from there, whoop, now we can have better shapes. I'm not going to do the whole thing. So we like have a better shape, and now we go over it with the line art. And wow, it's like 100 times more clean, isn't it? And like last argument, about doing it that way. You already know if you've done painting before, but it's better to do the sky, the land, and the guy in front of the camera in that order, because doing the guy in front of the camera, then the land, it's just you're just gonna go over your characters. No, just don't do it. Just do it like that. So now that we have a general idea of how to take on the drawing, I guess we can go back to one of the drawing I have. Hold on. No, it's not here. I'm sorry, this is very unprofessional. But, you know, like I said, I don't have much experience. It's a learning experience for the both of us, okay? So, back to man, this is not helpful. There you go. Boom. Okay, here he is. No. Okay, so what's going on here? What have I done? So, from afar, looks really good. But if you look closely, it's a mess. But it's a good mess. So, um, here, as you can see, I've used this tool to do a bit of shading of like colors, and, like add some light. I've used this one to do maybe a bit of some sharp line around the eyes, trying to more define the shadows right beneath the hair. I guess I'm just gonna have a breakdown of this here because we're already at 42 minutes. But next I'll probably try to do a like a like a real thing. I'll show you how I do it. Like there's no real line art around it. There's a bit for defining the hair, defining the mouth, defining the jaw, but for the most part, the hair are very loose, and there are no edges around. For the same for the ears, because you're trying to, if it's not necessary. You can just lay it open for the light to come in. I guess it's kind of difficult to see it because, like, I don't have like a step-by-step thing of it. But I guess I could try to give you a general idea of what's happening here. I've done an animation with paint, but I don't think I can just show it like that. What else? Well, we can open that one. This one, again, not much line art, but that was the idea anyway. I used a bit of line to add a bit of texture on the sweater, trying to define in a very sharp way his short, his body, fur, ears, trying to make it look sharp. So I mostly used this tool. I did use a bit of the crayon tool to give a bit of shading on the ears with the skin color, but aside from that, it's very sharp. For the naughty one thing, like here we can see a lot more uh, line art going on, and yet it's very clean. So I'm pretty sure what I've been doing here is just take the I think I've been using I've used this one. Let me try to pick the color. Yeah, I guess I've been using this. But yeah, very short. So what I've been doing must been that I've been going over around the drawing, trying to have add some thickness where it needs to be, trying to keep it light where I have to, and where I feel like I've been going off too far up. I just pick the color for the background here and just go back over it like this. There you go. That's how I do my line art. I just go around the colored thing, and I'm pretty sure I did a bit of contour of the character and then try to draw over it. As you can see, again, a lot of crayon for the shading. Um, but then I went over with this and did details for the ears around the contour and all that. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and try to have another video where I actually break down the entire process that went into making. Hold on. That went into making this here. Well, here I've only been using this tool, just this one, because I actually like the render on it. And yeah, there's just no shading. It's just only going over the lines again and again. And you see, I don't even have to do a lot. Like, oh wait, we can have a good example right here. Oh wait, the, the drawing have been a little compressed, but it's okay. We can still see that I've been going over the line, but still have an outline. It's a bit messy, but really, if you're not afraid of the mess, it can give you something very energetic. If you like, if you really want, and you can do whatever you want. Really, it's just gonna take maybe a bit of more time, a bit more planning, a bit more careful. Like, look at here, look at it here. This is bad. It's like, what is this? But if you zoom back, it's fine. Like, I paid attention to the hand. I paid attention to the eyes and the face, and a bit of the microphone, how it works. See, it's a package. It's not like individual detail. So yeah, I guess after about an hour of me talking, I hope you have a good idea of what this is all about. I guess like maybe at some point I'll try to have a better idea of how to construct a video like this where I try to break things down and not such a, because here I'm reviewing the whole thing. I'm trying to give you a whole package of like how to use the whole thing instead of individual things. So I guess I can just cut it here and try to make another hour video on me breaking down how I make it while making it, because this was a lot of talking, a lot of a lot of theory stuff, but we want some real ass artist practice doing things. So I guess we're gonna cut it here. I hope you got what I was talking about. You get it. That my English wasn't too poor. And yeah, if you have any question again, remember to ask me uh, either on Discord or the comment if you happen to not know me already, because you probably don't, whatever. And if you want like me see other things I do, just ask. I'll just probably drop it into the comments, like my other place of where I put stuff. And yeah, I hope you learned something and that it's not too trash. Bye.